Tonight we are going to go into our third part of our Moments series. Now, we are 2 away from finishing, so this week and next week, and then we're done, and we're going to go bowling. So stay with us. So, we're going to be looking at another small moment of David's story, and we're going to be trying to relate it to us because these small moments that David is having that is kind of propelling him to kingship is moments that we can relate because they're moments that can build us up or tear us down, right? And that's kind of what we're talking about. And so we're going to jump 7 chapters ahead of where we were. So I'm just going to breeze through what's happening, right? So I kind of catch you up and I don't have to spend a whole bunch of time reading a bunch of stuff. So 4 things that have happened in the 7 chapters that you have not been present because you probably didn't read it yourselves. So we're from 17, now we're going to go to 24 for you math majors. Okay, so number 1, David killed Goliath. Hiya, he did it. And then became famous, right? And then number 2, David started doing really well in the army, doing battles, and so he was doing so well that people started taking notice. They actually started singing songs, being like, oh, Saul killed thousands and David killed 10,000s. And then Saul starts getting a little jelly. That's not good. Okay, so number 3 is Saul started getting super jealous of what David was accomplishing and trying to take it personal. So what does he start thinking? I'm going to kill him. I'm going to get him out of the way because I don't want David to take over my kingdom or my kingship. Stop messing with the purse, thank you. Saul starts chasing down David in multiple instances where he's chasing him down and David narrowly escapes, right? And he keeps pursuing him, because as soon as Saul gets his hands on David, he's dead. He's going to murder him, and that's going to be that. So, we're finding ourselves in a situation where Saul finally catches up to David. Okay? So, again, we're finding David and Saul in this place called the desert of En-Gedi. And it's kind of a weird, I don't know how to say it correctly, but there it is. So Saul's looking for David, and unfortunately, Saul has this moment, a very human moment. Nature calls. It's got a little rumbling in the tummy, and he goes, I kind of got to poop. And so nature calls, homie's got to poop, and so he finds a cave to poop. Because I don't know why he wants such privacy to poop, but maybe if you're a king, you don't want to see people, I don't know. Who knows? He wants to poop in a cave, which is very strange. When I see a cave, I don't think I want to hang out there and be semi-naked. But again, Saul's going to make Saul choices. I'm going to make Scoop choices. So we're going to find ourselves in the middle of Saul making this decision. So we're going to be, it's going to be on your screen, and it's going to be Samuel 24, 3-6. Okay. So he came to the sheep pens along the way. A cave was there. Saul went in to relieve himself. Again, he's kind of like, I need poop time. David and his men, unfortunately, were far in the back of the cave. So David was already there in the far edges of that cave while Saul is letting nature call. Okay? The men said, this is the day the Lord spoke of when he said to you, I will give your enemy into your hands for you to deal with as you wish. So then David crept up unannounced or unnoticed and cut off a corner of Saul's robe. Very interesting. Afterwards, David was conscience-stricken for having cut off a corner of his robe. He said to the men, the Lord forbid that I should do such a thing to my master, the Lord's anointed, or lay my hand on him, for he is the anointed of the Lord. That's the moment I want to look into. So first of all, David is an absolute ninja. All right, to sneak up on a guy who's in the middle of a cave and not a whole bunch of noise is happening, David's a ninja. All right, I want to put that out in the open. He's the first ninja in history. All right, now that that's been solved. Again, tonight we're going to be going into this moment of David cutting off the corner of the robe, because it's a huge moment in David's life. Because if you think about it, if David kills Saul right then and there, defenseless, who becomes king? He does, right? So if he just murders him, because he had every right to, because Saul was chasing him, trying to murder him. If David got revenge and says, you know what, this is my moment, that's when he becomes king, automatically. But he doesn't do that. And I want to dive into that moment, because why would you wait? Why would you not kill the man that's been terrorizing you forever? Why would you not do that? And he says to his men, he goes, I just couldn't do it because the Lord has anointed him. I just couldn't. And so I want to ask you, when we're kind of looking at ourselves, and the question he had to ask himself is, are your actions worth your integrity? I want you to be focusing on that question. Are your actions that you do and actions that you say, are they worth your integrity? How much is that worth to you? Because David, it was everything. His integrity at that point was everything. And he knew, if I took Saul out while he was God's anointed man as king, he knew he would not be a rightful king. So he would not give up his integrity just for a moment ahead to get ahead of himself and become king. He just couldn't do it. But what about us, right? What situations? Obviously, we're never in a situation where we're like, hey, I'm going to murder a guy who's pooping. Hopefully that's not you. Because if it is, you're in some weird situations, and we need to talk about your life choices, all right? But for us, how do we draw something out of that, right? I'm going to ask you, and I'm just going to be really plain with you, how many times have you been in the middle of a test, and you look over, and you cheat? It happens. It happens to everyone, right? Okay. What about, have you ever lied to your parents? Who's lied to their parents? Every hand should be up, all right? You liars.
No, I don't.
Someone's like, I didn't do that ever. No, it happens. All right. Have you ever told a friend? And I have a video in a second. Have you ever told a friend that you didn't do something when you definitely did that something, right? You're like, I didn't do that, and you're like, homie, come on. And so I want to show you a very quick, it's like 10 seconds video of a time where someone was definitely guilty, and they denied it until they were quite blue in the face. And so, Tracy, if you play that first young man at like 50 seconds, so I had to reload for some reason. So it's the young man at about 50 seconds after the young lady is running away with her cookie.
20 kids on the farm?
Okay, and then if you put it full screen, that'd be awesome. So I love these videos, by the way. I just love them to death. Okay, so this next young man is what I want you to focus on.
Full screen?
There you go. Okay, play.
Excuse me! You're telling me you haven't ate any candy today?
I haven't.
What a liar.
You have one more time to tell me the truth.
Really, I haven't.
And what is all over your face?
You? Oh. Well, I forgot that I ate that. Just one.
Just one.
I totally forgot.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a moment like that? Where someone busts you and you're like, I didn't do that, and evidence is just everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're all over the internet. I love these compilations of kids. Like there's one where they're like in the shower covered in paint and like, who did this? And they're like, I don't know. And you're like, you're so covered in paint, we know it was you. And they're just like, I didn't do anything. You stick to your guns for whatever you want, but I don't know, dude. But what I've seen, and what I want to convey, I know it's a silly video, but what I've found is character and integrity is very, very hard to build. Hands down. It's very hard to build. And it's very, very easy to destroy everything about your character, about integrity. It takes one slip up and then people don't trust you. Have you ever been in a situation like that? Where you do one slip up and you lie? So let me give you an example. Have you ever lied to your parents? Right? And they caught you, and for some reason the next few weeks when you say something, they just don't believe you. It's so annoying because you're like, why don't you believe me? And they're sitting there going, because you a liar, punk. You lied to me. And so when you're like, I just want to go hang out with Henry, and they're like, no, dude, I don't believe that you're going to actually go do that.
Oh, sorry.
Right? It's very hard. It's very hard to build up your character, but it's so easy to just knock it clean out. And there it goes. And then you have to do this process where you have to rebuild it for some reason. And it's just so frustrating. It's like, why don't you trust me? It's like, it's probably because you broke the trust there, homie. It's not rocket science. Okay? So the next question that I want to ask you, it's going to be on the screen, is relating to this David moment, is who do you see when you look in the mirror?
A beautiful man.
A beautiful man. Which is good that you say that.
I see myself.
Because simply put, who you see, and not physically, who you see on the inside, directly affects your decisions. and your decisions directly affect who you see. And so obviously for those honest people, and we're not talking about the jack humans, where they're like, I'm the best human being ever, I'm the coolest, because they're lying. We all have faults, and we all have things that when we look in the mirror and we're reflecting on ourselves, there are things inside us that don't make us too happy to see, right? We all have that darkness. We all have sin. Hands down yet again. We all have that. And it's okay. You don't have to be perfect. But I want you to recognize that there are some things that when you stare deep inside that you're not happy about. And the question is who do you see? Who do you see when you reflect on yourself, when you look in the mirror? So there's a lot of situations where you're in and only one human being, aka yourself, or maybe just another single human being will know about something that's going to happen, a decision that you're going to make, something that you say, and there's legitimately like just yourself and maybe another person is only going to know. Those situations are extremely difficult. It's like the middle of a test where you are struggling with a temptation and you think, am I going to do it? And then there's times where you do. And that is an unfortunate situation. I'm going to give you some examples. Chris, can you? No? Cheers. Okay. Again, what if you look over in the middle of a test and you start cheating? No one's going to know except you.
Thank God.
God, right? Okay. Another situation is what if you're home alone or in your room alone and you decide, hey, I've got internet. I want to look at something that I'm not supposed to be looking at. Or maybe you've got a text relation with someone and you're saying horrible things. Maybe you're saying some cuss words that you normally wouldn't in front of your parents. Maybe there's some things that you're talking about that's inappropriate that if you were to tell anyone else. But again, maybe you're texting someone about something inappropriate. Maybe you're using Snapchat for things that are not usually kid-orientated. There's a lot of situations that you're in that if you were to tell anyone else, they might be, I don't want to say ashamed because ashamed is a strong word, but they might be, right? Maybe there's, again, a conversation you're having with someone or a bunch of friends and you're using words and saying things about other people that if they found out, they'd be crushed. We do that to ourselves a lot. And so, what I want to point to just before we go into groups as I check the time, is David is battling this idea of, I will know that I did this. And what Julian said is so true. And something that we forget as humans is not only will you know, but God will know. God is here. God is present, watching, and He knows even if we don't say anything in our hearts when we sin, right? And so David knows if I cut this man down, if I kill Saul right now, God is going to know, and it's not the right thing. And so he decides, all my men are telling me to kill him, and I just can't do it. Because at the end of the day, I have to look in the mirror. And I have to see what God sees. And see the sin and see the mistakes that I have made. And sometimes I don't want to live with that. And I don't know about you, but I run into that situation a lot where you're tempted and you decide, you know what, I don't want to go down that road because at the end of the day, I have to live with it. And I don't want to live with it. No matter what my friends are saying, what other people are saying, I have to suffer the consequences for myself. Even if no one finds out, I still have to repent to God. And David does not want to do that. And so we're going to end there tonight, just as we go into groups. We're going to keep it nice and short. There's going to be a lot of conversation that I want you guys to be having because it's important. And I want to read just the verse if Tracy wants to get to it. And I want you to be talking about this. And I'm just going to leave you with this verse. Because David gives his answer, and then he confronts Saul. And again, I want to